So we move away from the Earth. We're going to what we have qualified in a bit of provocative way, the alien worlds, which is all the other planets around, including also the connection with the solar system. So to run through this topic, I have three speakers I would like to introduce. They would three be dealing with aspects which are different scale and different stage about the topic. Well, the first one is, it was pretty clear from the last series of talk that there is a lot to learn from the solar system, and how do we connect the solar system to exoplanet? How do we connect the planet with the atmosphere of the planet? You heard the term of habitability and climate before. I think, what does it mean really? So we have the chance to have one of our spoke, Robin Wordsworth from Harvard. So we're very pleased Robin made the trip. Then we will move to all these other planets that has been found. And it seems just amazing that without really actually seeing this planet, it's quite spectacular how far we can learn about this planet. And Madhu will introduce the audience to the world of exoplanets and how much we've learned from them. What about the atmosphere? And it's quite fascinating because it's just at the beginning. It's a bit the tip of the iceberg, but the tip of the iceberg is quite already fascinating. So moving away from the solar system, going to all these many planets and trying to set the scenery, what is going to happen in the next couple of years, especially with this great new equipment we have, which is called James Webb Space Telescope. I heard about that one, I guess. And then we have another spoke visiting us from Switzerland, from ETH, my colleague Sasha Quantz. Sasha is moving us into the third dimension in a way, the future, and what really we can do, what we will be doing when we're going to see this planet, what's called the direct detections. It's already amazing to think about detecting planet. When you think about direct detecting a planet, it's absolutely sci-fi, I think, movies. But actually, this is going on already. There are already some detection being made, and Sasha is part of the team doing that. But there is even more that is going to happen with the future equipment that being built. And we're going to have a kind of introduction into what to expect, really, about direct detecting the planet, having a direct, the kind of picture we've seen in black and white, I mean, that we had at the beginning from Ollie, I think, to trying to translate that into the first kind of picture we're going to get on planet from the astronomy perspective. So this is what it is. Now, in terms of global introductions about exoplanet, what to say? Well, I don't want to be very long, but I just did that just to give you a kind of the woo effect. I mean, we have to admit that the world is completely different right now, because there is really almost an infinite number of planets we can pick. We know practically more than 5,000 of these exoplanets, planet on other stars, and it's very, very small number compared to the actual number of planets you have in our galaxy, because essentially you expect to have a planet on every star. No, so there is really a clear answer to the question, do we have other planets on other stars? The answer is definitely yes. But what is fascinating in this is not only that we're finding planet, I mean, the population, the diversity of this planet is just absolutely amazing. And I think this will come to the various talks. I mean, they're not exactly the way they should be according to the limited view we have on the solar system. And it's very fascinating to see how we can dialogue between the planet on the solar system and the planet on other star, how we use both of them to learn to each other. And we have this fancy planet, hot Jupiters, compact systems, super Earth, mini Neptunes, all these planets that don't exist in the solar system. But we can learn from the solar system planet to them and backwards on the history of the solar system. So essentially what we're going to address here in this chapter is, I mean, what do we really know about these other planets, these other worlds? How do they compare with the solar system? So it's not easy to do. And it's even more difficult because we have to admit, as of today, we are missing an Earth twin. We have not found a planet exactly like the Earth. We found a planet with the mass of the Earth, planet with the size of the Earth, but they're either too close or they don't have the right mass or right size, but they're not really exactly the same than the Earth. So this is really an embarrassing situation right now we are facing, and we're really missing this from the trophy list. So as a personal note of the activity we're doing in Cambridge and with my colleagues, I would just to mention, I think one of the spectacular experiments that we are working on setting up right now to trying to fix this. So the plan is, how can we find other planet like the Earth. And the experiment is a talenting experiment that I'm conducting leading with my colleague Sam Thompson in the audience. I mean, I want to talk too much about the practicality. You can have a look, you can Google it if you want. The idea is essentially to use an historical telescope, which is dear to my heart, which is the Isaac Newton telescope. So I think the connection with Newton is pretty nice. On the top of an island on the ocean, which is in Canary Island here, La Palma. And we're using this telescope here, which is 2.5 meter telescope, which is kind of small size compared to what you're going to hear later from my colleagues. But it's plenty enough because we can take it for conducting a systematic surveys. We're going to look for a limited number of stars, but for a long time, about 10 years, the duration of that project, and trying to detect around the stars where we have not found a planet yet, whether there is actually hidden here some kind of a planet like the Earth or solar system equivalent. This is really what we're doing here practically. We're trying to just add this new piece of information with a lot of challenges, because you may guess, if nobody has found a planet like that so far, there is good reason. It's really difficult. And okay, so on that, I will leave the floor, and I will just invite the first speaker. I mean, Robin, please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.